Richo now said, this is my mum's chocolate apple Betty. Now, when I go home about once, if I'm lucky, twice a year, I walk up that path, I can already start smelling it. I know she would have made it for me, a nice vegetarian roast dinner and a chocolate apple Betty for after. It's basically a messy crumble. Now, in England, we normally use brambly apples because they're really, really acidic, but I'm just going to use some nice Granny Smiths for this one because they're not that easy to find in Australia, and I just want you to quarter them because basically we're just going to make some stewed apple. So we'll get that in a nice hot pan. We'll get that one on.
And you've peeled these apples, cored them already and put them in a bowl of acidulated water or with some lemon juice?
Exactly. That's just to keep them fresh. That lemon adds a nice little flavour too because there's a tartness. And when you put tart with chocolate, it's just divine. It's wonderful because you get that smooth creaminess and then a sharpness that comes from the apple there. Now, I'm going to add some water just on the bottom. That's more so that things don't burn. Once I put the lid on as well, we're really just going to be stewing, which is just in a little bit of water, making sure that it softens is what we want. Now, that really only takes about 10 to 15 minutes of letting that one stew. Now, I'm going to add a bit of butter here too. This is a little bit indulgent, but I think that sometimes a little of what you like is very good for you. So just a third of the butter in there. That's just going to richen things up a bit. Now, I'm just going to put a lid on that. I've got it on a nice low and slow heat. That's just going to simmer away and stew. Now, I've got some sourdough here, about 2 to 3 cups. I'm going to have a little pinch of salt. I do love a bit of salt in baking. And if you've got that chocolate there...
Just pour it in?
Pour it in.
Okay.
So the reason that I don't chop it up anymore is to get a little chunk of chocolate is just like a little present.
It's a bonus.
It's a bonus. It's a wonderful thing. Now, it would normally be half a cup of brown sugar, but I have this marvellous monk fruit sweetener. It's got the best story to it. They simply went up the mountain of the Asian highlands and they found this sacred, really sweet fruit and brought it back down. That's the monks.
Was it in the packet when they brought it down?
Oh, I'm not sure. I'm going to need to ask them. My next retreat, I'll ask them.
So it's just like using regular sugar. It looks like regular sugar.
1 for 1. So great. But the wonderful thing is it doesn't spike that blood sugar. But do you know what? In this dish, it doesn't matter. This is just about having a great time. If you want to spike your blood sugar, go for it. You'll be going to bed soon anyway.
It's actually got a really good flavour to it.
Yeah, it's a wonderful flavour. Now, if you grab that spoon, I just want you to mix that up. So stir that one around. Now, I have some butter here, and I'm just going to put it in a pan. And I'm going to melt it down because this really is how we get the richness of this dish. So to that butter, I have some maple flavoured syrup. This tastes so like maple syrup, it's ridiculous. Using monk fruit again, and I'm going to use about 3 tablespoons. This is a really easy self-saucing recipe. So just some butter and some monk fruit syrup, fantastic.
A ridiculous self-saucing pudding.
It's ridiculous. So I'm just going to melt that one down so everything's mixed together. My apples are stewing away there, and Richo's mixing beautifully, and I'm going to mix everything together in a second. So we'll just wait for this to stew up, and then we'll bring it all together. Perfect. Now that is stewed to perfection. Now I'm going to get you to just hold that one up while I pour it into the bottom of a nice baking dish.
Gotcha.
In we go there. You'll see how easy stewed apple is. Do stewed pear as well if you want to.
You can put just about anything in here.
Just about anything, and it's wonderful. New mums and dads, so easy to do. Making your own baby food as well. Literally just cover it with some of that. You can be messy, you can leave bits of shown apple, anything like that. Get it on there.
Sprinkle it on like that?
Yes, lovely. Put it all on.
Gotcha.
That's the thing. So it's all about the crunch. So basically, the laziest crumble you'll ever have in your whole entire life, but you wait till you taste it, and it's actually all to do with this buttery, mapley syrup topping. Well, you'll get bits of caramelization, bits of crunch. So into the oven we go, 180 degrees for 35 to 40 minutes. How nice does that smell? Sounds like apple crumble, but then you get that whiff of dark chocolate, that little present of dark chocolate there. I've done a very nice, generous amount, haven't I? We'll get that all in there. Make sure we get that apple in there too. Now, this is the chocolate episode, so I think it would only be right to go completely over the top, just like you are a little bit sometimes. Let's go some of that lovely gelato on there, bit of chocolate. Yeah, more.
that.
Now, if you hand me over some of that chocolate-flavoured topping too, again, this is monk fruit. We try to go as healthy as we possibly can, but remain indulgent as well sometimes.
Let's indulge.
Let's indulge, my friend. Let's get in there. I want a bit of the chocolate chunk.
I'll taste some of the crumble. I want to see how that crumble tastes because it's interesting how you just pour the butter over the top of it. Really, really clever way of doing it.
It's so simple. It's absolutely delicious. You get a bit of crunch in there too. I mean, you can up the ingredients and make this for 8, 10, however many you've got. Great for Christmas Day as well.
I love it. I think it's a great tasting crumble. I like the way you've cooked the apples and the ice cream with it. Lots of chocolate in there, which is, I think, really, really over the top, but I love it.
Great.